Plaut, who's an author and Africa analyst at the Institute of Commonwealth Studies. He joins us now from London. Really good to have you with us, Martin. Let's start with Volker Perthes first. Of course, he was essentially banished from the country some time ago. So what difference will this make now that Sudan doesn't have a UN special envoy?
Well, in all likelihood, the United Nations will swallow its pride and nominate somebody else. But in reality, this should never have been allowed to happen. I mean, if the United Nations was as powerful as it should be, then it would be impossible to get rid of him because he represents the Security Council. He actually represents the whole of the United Nations. You can't kick somebody like that out unless they've committed a crime, which he certainly hadn't done. But what it indicates is the weakness of the international system, which is divided, of course, between the Americans on one hand and the Europeans, and on the other hand, the Russians and the Chinese. It just means they don't have the strength to stand up even to petty tyrants like Burhan.
Well, that's right, because the conflict, as we know, between the RSF and the army has been going on since April. We've since had thousands of people killed, millions of Sudanese displaced, and there really seems to be no end in sight right now, with ethnic tensions in Darfur even being reignited as a result of this conflict. Is there any way that you can see any sort of a truce in the fighting, any cessation of hostilities at this point, and what will be needed in order for that to happen?
I don't think so. I think that this is war without end at the moment. I mean, if Volker Perthes quite rightly said this is on the edge of civil war. Well, if it's frankly, it's there already. And in a sense, what has changed is that Burhan has been able to leave Khartoum. He managed to be smuggled out of Khartoum and has then gone along to all his mates in the Arab world, particularly going to see El-Sisi in Egypt, who's a classmate of his. He feels much more powerful now because he now feels he has the Arab world on his side, and he's doing two things. He's pushing away the international mediation, which in a sense tried to say, look, you guys have got the military and the RSF have got to leave power, and we've got to have the Democrats and the civilians back in power. Because don't forget that Burhan was there as a result of a coup. And he's also trying to push the Africans out. He's trying to reject the Kenyans, because the Kenyans are seen as sort of an Africanist approach, which also said that you're a military coup leader, therefore you can't really be part of the African Union. So he's really trying to stand up to all this because he feels more powerful now that he's no longer in Khartoum.
Okay, Martin Plaut, we will have to leave it there. But as you say, we'll keep an eye on what the UN Security Council decides to do in terms of a special envoy for Sudan. For now, thanks once again for joining us.